service number 4, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, those of you here in our sanctuary with the light changing every week to remind us we are entering spring. Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are at home and just joining us so that we can be together in a hybrid way for this Shabbat. So let me welcome you, give you a moment to settle as Natasha arrives and will be taking us straight into Shalom Aleichem. But first, I'm really delighted to ask our own Andrea Narchin to light Shabbat candles for us tonight here in the sanctuary in honour of her sleeping out for Homeless Action Barnet tomorrow night and doing so on behalf of us, the congregation. So let's stand, those of us who are here, and get ready with your own candles, those of you who are at home, and off you go. And we give Natasha a moment to settle. It's fine.
Draw near, eternal God, as working day turns to Sabbath rest. You have been with us all the week, and yet we have often forgotten you. Now, kindling these lights, we say your name, remembering the love you have shown us, and in gratitude and thanks, we turn to you to bathe our hungry souls in your kindness. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to those of you at home. Shabbat Shalom here. Let's sit down as we go into our service. And just before we go into Shalom Aleichem, just want to share a verse of Torah, just to allow us to settle, to be ready, to jettison the week that we've just had. For some of us, wonderful things in our week, for others challenging. With the backdrop of what's happening, we're getting used to marking Shabbat and being aware what's happening around us. This week's Torah portion is a really interesting one, Shmini, that contains the laws of kashrut. Really interesting laws for us as progressive Jews, many of whom have decided, many amongst us, and even some of my rabbis. As a student rabbi at Leo Beck College, I went to one rabbi for Friday night dinner, and dinner was completely not kosher, and I was told that that was the liberal way. And I think that sense of integrity, of allowing us to remain in community, but to decide what speaks to us and to carry it with. But I would say that there's a very strong message that we might miss sometimes in this week's Torah portion. We know we're in the midst of the priesthood. We know we're in the midst of Aaron being told how to be high priest, how to train his sons. Moses does all that. Last week, Moses was washing them. This week, we see Aaron and 2 of his sons who are named, Nadav and Avihu. And in this portion, where we're told what to eat, what not to eat, how to be in congregation, this story of Nadav and Avihu, who were maybe trainee priests, we're told that they put fire in their fire pans and they offered a strange fire to God, which God had not asked for. Fire came forth from God and consumed them. It's an incredibly strange passage that these 2 priests die. But what I want to share, and I really think that we will all be able to understand it from our perspective now. They died at the instance as soon as they were consumed by the fire. Moses said to Aaron, this is what God meant when God said, I will show who I want to show that I am holy, and everyone needs to honor that holiness. Harsh words. But in Aaron's moment of grief, we have this phrase, really powerful phrase of how Aaron copes with what is happening for him. And I think all of us who have experienced grief of immense proportion, of not being able to make sense of it, will understand. Vayidom Aharon, and Aaron was silent. And I just think for us, all of us navigate different moments in our lives of grief, hardship, encountering something that is difficult to make sense of. and how much we understand that idea of Vayidom Aharon. Sometimes one does not have words to be able to express what we intend and what we mean. So let me give you that to just think about Vayidom Aharon as Natasha takes us into Shalom Aleichem. We're going to move between two services tonight, so page 76. Beautiful, and we're going to try with Dror Yikra, page 86, the idea of freedom and joy.
Now this isn't the traditional melody, because I could not find any music at all. I even asked Dean, no one knows where the music is. So this is a cover I found that the Maccabees had done.
Beautiful, we'll have the Maccabees.
So you may be aware of this tune. If anybody knows it and has a cup at home and wants to tap along, if you are familiar. But here we go. Dror Yikra liv ein bad, vi ein tochem kmo bavad, neim shechem Kabbalat Shabbat, shavu v'nachu b'yom Shabbat, darash navi. Va'ulami, va'od yeshar se'imi, ne'tasorek b'toch kami, she'ei shabbat pnei ami, dechei chochma, derefshecha, v'hichet el roshecha, netzom mitzvat kadoshecha, shemo shabbat kodshecha.
Beautiful. I think that will fast become something that we want to use for many Shabbatot. Let's go to Lachadodi, regular for us, page 91.
Lachadodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabala. Lachadodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabala. Lachadodi lekrat kala,
Hu, page 92. Let's stand, welcome. We are welcoming each other, having welcomed Shabbat, and we go into prayers together this evening. Adonai Hama'ariv, Aravim. Let's sit down. Ahavat Olam, page 93. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto va'ed. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you shall be on your heart, and you shall teach them to all your children. And you shall talk of them when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking by the way, lying down and getting up. And you shall write them on the doors of your house and upon your gates, upon your gates. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad.
Laman
Tiskaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kadoshim le'Elokechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Willingly we accepted your rule, and full of joy we sang together. Page 95. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. And as we've been doing these last few weeks, to offer the Hashkivenu, the prayer that explicitly talks about our need, our desire for protection from sickness, war, famine and distress, from all sorts of ills. And we sing it and have been doing every Friday night, thinking of those struggling to protect their own lives in the Ukraine.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu LaShalom v'chamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu LaShalom v'chamidenu Malkeinu.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporetz sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol yoshvei tevel. Let's stand for the tefillah, the Amidah, Stand when you're ready. Join Natasha in singing those words. Open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Svattai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Svattai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Svattai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Svattai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Levnei v'Nehem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע מגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים. קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Let's sit down and mark Shabbat. Here we are together. Well done for getting in with the new link, the new password for spring. And let's sing Vashamru with Natasha.
Vashamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'rit olam. Vashamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam b'rit olam. B'nei u'bein b'nei Yisrael
Middle of page 100. Baruch atah Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat. So as we're here, all of us with different moments in our lives that have happened this week. We're here to sing and to be together and to just feel a sense of oasis and calm. And we hope that somehow our prayers have been able to join together with each other's, not because we need a result, but because we want to feel that there is some sense of commonality, of kavanah, of spiritual direction in how we are together. Let's read in English together. Eternal God, be gracious to your people Israel. In your love, accept their prayers. May our worship now and always be acceptable in your sight. We praise you, O God, whom alone we worship in reverence. And now, as always, let's offer our evening prayer for gratitude. Share anything at home that you'd like to share to allow you to feel part of what's happening here, and we'll read it out. Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzur hayenu, magen yishenu, ata hu lado vado, nodeh lecha nsaper tehilatecha. Al hayenu hamsarim biyadecha, v'al nishmotenu habakudot lach, v'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu, v'al niflotecha v'tovotecha, shebachol eit erev v'vokev v'tzoharayim. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulacha na'eh lehodot. Let's offer our evening prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom.
Adonai, Oseh HaShalom. So I just want to give us an opportunity to reflect on our lives in the world on Shabbat, and to think about the extremes, the spectrum of what we see the world is dealing with. I saw yesterday in the paper, and I paid attention to it because my parents are taking Raphael to Venice just before Pesach for his delayed bar mitzvah trip. And I saw that there was in the paper that canal side hotels in Venice are giving tourists water pistols to shoot at all the seagulls who are disturbing all the tourists in Venice. So I was thinking that on one hand, we are reading news like that, and how the tourists can have an unmolested time as they sit by the Grand Canal in Venice, at the same time as we are reading and learning and watching the fall of Mariupol, of the sheer just torture and suffering of those in Ukraine. And I think our task is to hold that balance, to be taking our children to school and laughing when someone says something funny, and having moments of joy and normality in our life, even as our hearts bleed with empathy for what is happening. just hundreds of miles away. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that for each of us as we hold that in our hearts, just taking a moment of silent prayer.
Say shalom, shalom, bimromav, huya, say shalom, aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, va'imru amen. Huya, say shalom, aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Say shalom, shalom, bimromav, huya, say shalom, aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
Should we do a Maya Fehayom before we go to Aleinu? So before we go to Aleinu, which is on page 520, let's have another moment of holding on to this Shabbat. There's something a little extraordinary about tonight because we changed our, as we do every season, changed our password, and maybe some struggled, but some of you are here, and there's this sense that whenever our numbers are more intimate, something powerful, I think, happens. So let's take an extra moment to mark Shabbat. Maya Fe Hayom.
Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom.
Aleinu. Let's stand. Aleinu, which is a really tricky prayer in many ways, but truly it reminds us that what we create here when we live on this earth, what we contribute, what we leave as a legacy, how we behave to each other, brings about a new way of living. And so nothing is ever not worthwhile. Aleinu on page 520. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו יחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים נמעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. Let's pause for a moment as we remember those in our community who are marking a yahrzeit this Shabbat. We think particularly of Eric Brandon, father of Danielle Brandon Rocks. We think of Nesta Elias, mother of Jan and Tikoni. We think of Joyce Sherwood, mother of Peggy Sherwood, of Simon Slater, brother of Roger Slater, and of Vivian Lacra, wife of Paul, mother of Melanie, Celine, and Lizzie, and a new granddaughter born this week and taking Vivian's name, Vivi, just to me, and I'm sure the whole family has a sense that Vivian's spirit lives on in her family. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And may those who recall and remember their loved ones be comforted in their loss as we say the words of the Kaddish with them on page 524. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shamei rabbah, bi'alma divra hiutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yom echon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, Magala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mavorach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitada v'yitaleh v'talal shemei dekudusha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chayem aleinu v'yakol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael. V'yakol b'nei Adam. V'imru amen. Let's sit down. Just a quick reminder that Andrea's Facebook fundraising page for Homeless Action Barnet is on our fundraising page, and we really want to support her as she represents FPS, sleeping out in her sleeping bag. She's already told us she doesn't mind it, but we won't tell everyone else that because actually the sacrifice is there. Fantastic that you're doing it, Andrea, and if you need the link, you can ask anyone for the Just Giving link. So let us finish with a blessing for each other For those of you at home, for those of us here in the sanctuary, as we offer the priestly blessing to us, to our children, to each other.
Yasimcha Elohim ka'Ephraim v'chi Menashe Yasimech Elohim k'Sarah Rivka Rachel V'yarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha Yisa Adonai panav elecha V'yasem lecha shalom V'yarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha Yisa Adonai panav elecha V'yasem lecha shalom V'yasem lecha shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you, Natasha, as always. So we can now stand, we can gather around the Kiddush table. Raphael, do you want to nip into the kitchen and see if there's anything else in the Kiddush box, just to spice up our Kiddush? Actually, there's a box in the fridge of little macaroons from Purim you can bring out, so people have more for Kiddush. So come stand around the table. The challah is laid out so you don't have to touch anyone else as you do it, and we will go into Kiddush. Those of you at home, this is your moment, your wine, your whiskey, your Bacardi. Graham's here. So I'm just realizing, as always, I forget to tell you what page Kiddush is on. This obviously must have great Freudian significance. Page 564. If we are ready. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah l'mikrayei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki banu v'hata v'itanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. L'chaim. And now, challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, P'tei Avon. Shabbat Shalom to all of you at home. Thank you for joining us. Wishing you a peaceful Shabbat, a moment of ease, and look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow morning. Oh, the mayor is coming. The mayor of Barnet is coming tomorrow with her gold jewellery. Sure. Isn't that what I did? So welcome, Grisha. I'm just hearing that you're here, Grisha. That's amazing. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom to you and those of you who are coming in from other countries, Italy and wherever you are. So Shabbat Shalom. And Finchley, very important. Shabbat Shalom.